What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. This week I'm working on a small commission piece. Had a couple of commission piece requests over the last few weeks and it's been fantastic during this isolation time. But as you can see over here, I'm just working on this small 10 by 10 inch canvas. And if I bring you over here, this is one of the reference images that they supplied me. They supply quite a lot and this was by far the best one, and as you can see I've just mocked up a bit of a composition here and just really focused on the portrait because of the size of the canvas. But aside from that, I've just ordered some new studio lighting, so I'm really amped to get that. Hopefully that'll be here in the next week or so. But for now, let's start painting. We'll set up and we'll get stuck into it. Alright, and as you can see here, I've gone ahead and thrown up my line work. Used a simple 2x2 grid. I don't always use a grid, but for a portrait like this, it just makes me a little bit more efficient and gets my line work nailed a little bit quicker. From here, I'm basically just going to go ahead and mix up some paint. I'm going to keep it really light at the moment, use a lot of the mixing medium, nice and washy, and just block in these different sort of sections and essentially lay the groundwork for the rest of my painting. So yeah, let's get stuck into it. Alright, so over here on the palette, I'll just quickly go through what paints I've got laid out at the moment. I've just got a burnt umber, cadmium red, yellow ochre, a French ultramarine blue, and a titanium white. And then mixing medium, I've just got some odorless solvent in this one, which I tend to use more for washing my brushes and just thinning down paint in general. And over here I've just got some odorless solvent as well as some refined linseed oil. But yeah, let's grab our palette knife and we can start mixing. Probably just going to mix a bit of a lightish grey tone. And to do that, I am going to mix some of my French ultramarine and my burnt umber. Typically how I will mix my greys, that's probably the fastest way to do so. And then I'll just warm it up if required or cool it down if required. As I said at the start of the video, I've got some new lights coming in, hopefully this week, but it's looking more like it'll probably arrive next week. But that should really help improve the quality of my videos and the shots that I'm able to film. So yeah, pretty stoked to get those in. But I'm just going to start here. I think it's quite light on the cooler side. Might warm it up just a touch, but I'm happy for it to be on the cooler side at the moment anyway, because as I said, it's just the underpainting. And I want the shadow tones to be quite cool. But yeah, we'll start here and we'll see how we go. So just a random side note, I've been using this easel for years. I'm really due for an upgrade. It basically just doesn't go as high as I want it to, so that when I'm working on small canvases like this, it's not really at my eye level. And I was just painting away and having some mad wobble issues happening. So just going to DIY this a little bit, tighten this up with some string. But yeah, if anyone's got any easel recommendations, feel free to drop them below. Would love to hear what you think. But yeah, I'm definitely well overdue for a new one. Maybe that's going to be my next isolation purchase. That's a little bit better, and that'll do for now. I guess while I'm here, I'll just give you a quick update of where I'm at. As you can see, I'm just blocking in my underpainting, starting to get these sort of gradual variations in tone, and just finding the sort of underpainting and the blueprint to my overall composition. Then I'm going to move on and block in the background to the piece. The background actually is quite colourful. It's a bit of a natural scape, so there's going to be some browns down the bottom, some greens up the top, and that's going to contrast really nicely with my portrait in the front. And the reason why I want to block that in quite early on is that I want to be able to feather out some of these hairs around the outside of the dog, and that will sort of further create the immersion that the dog is in fact in front of the background. But yeah, that's where I'm at, and I'm just gonna keep at it. So just cruising along with the painting now. Originally my tones were a little bit on the greener side. I think I had a bit too much green still floating around on the palette after doing the background. So this more recent layer I've just sort of built up my blue tones, as I want my shadow tones to kind of have this blue cool feel to them, definitely not green, and then have the background kind of more green and those sort of earthy tones based, and then hopefully my portrait in the front will contrast with those, and that'll lift that forward a bit. But yeah, just working on some of the details now, starting to find the details in the eyes, and then plan on sort of moving down to the nose and through the mouth, and just starting to overall sort of flesh that out now that I have the majority of well, basically all the sections blocked in. And then once I've done that, I'll probably just come over with another pass and just start blocking in the details on the dog's hair and whatnot. But yeah, making pretty good progress. Starting to use a little bit more of the refined linseed oil. Just trying to thicken up my paint and really create those nice brush strokes. But yeah, it's been a pretty productive day in the studio thus far. Been working on a lot of design work. It's sort of what's been keeping me going at the moment throughout isolation. I think I just got a commission piece sort of approved. It's going to be a pretty big one. One of the, probably the biggest canvas I'll work on. It's about 1.2 by 1.8 meters, which would be really fun to work on. It's going to be acrylic, which I haven't done much acrylic painting recently, so that'll be fun to dive back into. But yeah, I'm looking forward to starting that. And unfortunately, though, at the moment, there's a lot of problems with getting art materials out to the house. I'm not really meant to drive very far at the moment. In Melbourne, we're actually only meant to be staying within a 5-kilometre radius around our house for all of our shopping and exercise. And this place that has the large canvases is about a 30-kilometre drive away. So if I can't get that shipped out, then I will look at getting an application approved by the government, which is pretty bizarre. But COVID has been pretty hectic here in Melbourne the past couple of weeks. sort of been getting worse. And we're back in another 6-week lockdown. Cases actually have dropped a bit recently, which is nice to see. But yeah, strange town and it's down here. But yeah, I'm going to keep painting and I'll touch back with you all shortly.
And that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I hope you have found it rather helpful. Just as a quick final overlay as to my process when working with commissions. So when somebody reaches out and wants you to work on a project, probably the first most important thing to do is to come to an agreement on price as well as your overall idea for the piece. And I always highly recommend getting a deposit. Normally I'll take 30 or 40%. Unless it's somebody that's really close to you and you can trust them, but it's always a good idea to get a deposit up front. From there, you just move on to the creation phase. I tend to not like sharing work in progress photos unless they request them. And if they do request them, then I only share them when I am ready, because work in progress photos can sometimes be a bad representation of what the final artwork is going to look like, and your client might not have the same vision or outlook or be able to understand where the artwork is heading. So yeah, tend to stay away from work in progress photos, and then yeah, just basically create your piece, send final photos across, and yeah, that's about it really. Definitely always collect the rest of the payment upon pickup or delivery, and you're done. But yeah, hope you guys have found this video enjoyable and helpful. If you did, throw a like down below, and I'll catch you in the next video.